What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Brushmo, just in case you did not know. And today we are going to be talking about my top 10 guys that need to get hit with the franchise tag. Last year we saw like 16 or 17 guys get hit with the franchise tag. So I'm going to let you know who I think should get slapped with that bad boy, whether it's to extend their contract in the future or maybe a tag in trade. But go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And go ahead, leave a comment. Get involved in that nice, sensual football discourse, baby. And that's right. Things are looking a little different. I'm trying to change my setup a little bit. Still got to get this monitor working, man. We'll get there. We'll get there. But I'll be streaming later tonight, so come check that out. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the nitty gritty, man. Let's talk about my number one guy on the list. It's Taylor Moton, the tackle for the Panthers. Yeah, I think he definitely needs to get hit with the franchise tag because this guy's been excellent for the last 4 seasons. His franchise tag's going to come out to a little over $13 million, and they really should do whatever they can to extend him. I mean, he's only allowed 10 sacks over the course of 3,100 snaps throughout his career. He has been one of the better right tackles in this, just essentially in the NFL. I mean, he is literally and I think he should be okay. He should be happy with that franchise tag because when Ryan Ramczyk, when he hits free agency, because there ain't no way the Saints gonna be able to keep him. I'm just gonna say that it's gonna take a lot in terms of clearing up their space and their cap room. They're just in some salary cap hell right now. But he should wait and let Ramczyk be the standard, and then he's gonna make a lot of money himself. Because I would definitely say Moton's been top 5, top 7 tackle in the league. Next on the list, we have Allen Robinson, man. And I don't expect the Bears to be able to keep Allen Robinson, unfortunately. So this is going to be the result of a tag and trade because they need to at least get something for him. You know, just don't let him, and I hate saying this because it sounds messed up. Don't let him get away scot-free. Like, at least get something in return. His franchise tag is gonna cost a little bit more, about $18 million. So, and it sounds like they're far away in terms of, like, they're not even talking, they're not even negotiating, and it's a shame. He's been excellent despite the lack of a good quarterback, like throughout his career. Blake Bortles, nah. Don't even get me started with Minshew, man. Mitch just ain't it. Sorry, Bears fans, but he's been phenomenal. His first time in his career, he's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He had 13 touchdowns over the past 2 years. And he's only had 4 drops on over 300-some targets during that span. He's been excellent. He's definitely a top 5 receiver in the league. So, at the very least, tag him and trade him. I think it would just be wise. Then Dak's on this list, man. You know the Cowboys, they got to bring Dak back, and it's going to be hefty. Going to be almost $38 million to tag him, and the Cowboys are in a very bad position. I mean, I guess you could tag and trade him, but I don't think that's ideal. I think it's best just to try to bring him back in a long-term deal. I feel like the Cowboys kind of played themselves out of a top pick because at the very least, maybe they could draft a quarterback and move on from him. But listen, Dak's at least a top 7 quarterback in the league. I mean, if you take away his 2018, 2017 seasons where he was a bit inconsistent, he's been elite. Like, his 2019 was a banger, and then he was on his way to a really good season this year before the injury. Real shame. I don't know if he's exactly $40 million a year, because I mean that literally just destroys the Cowboys. They won't be able to retain any of the talent on their roster, and they're going to really have to hope to get lucky in the draft. But they're at this point, they're picking 10. It's like you'd rather go with, there's no one on free agency. I'm sorry. I love Ryan Fitzmagic. As a Dolphins fan, fins up, baby. But he's not a franchise quarterback. He's a bridge quarterback. There's a role for everybody in the league. But I think if you're the Cowboys, I think if you're Jerry World, you go with what you know instead of jumping into the unknown, especially since you're not in a good position to do that. And I think it'd be incredibly hard to do a tag and trade anyway. So tag him, get a deal done. Get a deal done. Marcus Maye coming in here, and dude, honestly, his franchise tag, what, $10.5 million? I think the Jets would love to take that. Like, they have enough cap space. Why not? He was probably one of your best defensive players on the roster last year. And I think he really stepped up. Like, he was good in 2019, but he really stepped up in 2020 with Jamal Adams gone. I mean, over the last 2 seasons, he's had 13 pass breakups, 3 interceptions. He's phenomenal in the run game. They use him in a variety of different ways, especially this year. Like, they played him a lot. Like, it was like over 500 snaps at free safety, but he also split time in the box and in the slot. I think that was about 400 snaps. And they even used him a little bit around on the defensive line. Like, he's not going to bring you 9 sacks like Jamal Adams, but I know people ain't going to like this. I think he's much better in coverage. Sorry. But I think he definitely deserves to get paid, and the Jets, they have the money to do so. So just hit him with the franchise tag. And then Chris Godwin, and I don't know if the Bucks, they might have to just let him walk, but because I mean I think they need to bring back Shaq Barrett some way somehow. He's worth the money, but it might be a case of tag and trade. I mean even Sue, Monte David, but I think both those guys might take discounts to play with Tom Brady. That is the beautiful thing about having Tom Brady on your roster. But I mean, they don't necessarily need to bring Godwin back with Mike Evans, Tyler Johnson. I'm telling you, that guy's gonna be good. He showcased it a little bit over a small sample size this season, but he's gonna be good. Scotty Miller's good in his own right, but it's just hard to let a caliber or let a player the caliber of Godwin just go, especially just for free. It's going to be $15 million to keep him. They're going to have to shed some contracts to really get under the cap just to be able to tag him anyway. But man, if I'm the Bucks, I'm really trying to. And I know a lot of people be like, "Well, what do you mean he had like 9 drops this year?" Well, the dude came, like the prior 3 seasons, he had 4. So I'm going to say, hey, it was an off year for Godwin. It was an off year in terms of catching the football. In an off year, he still had over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. And he was still very, very disgusting after the catch. Yeah, I don't know how you just let I just don't know how you let the best receiver on your roster just walk away. Because, I mean, the dude is going to get paid. Like, going to get paid a lot of money. But I think trying in some way, somehow, to at least bring him back for one more season, especially with Brady there on his last year of his deal, I think you try to make it work. And then Kenny Golladay, the other receiver among these 3 guys, between Allen and Godwin, who I just talked about. Golladay is right up there. I know he's been hurt. He was hurt this season, but the year before, like you go back 2018, dude, he was phenomenal. And then 2019, it looked like he was really going to emerge as one of the top 10 receivers in this league. And then he just got banged up. But he was pretty good in the games he did play. I mean, through 4 games, he had 2 touchdowns, 338 yards. And I know he's up there in years, but I think you got 1 or 2 options. Well, I guess 3 options if you're the Lions, because we know the Lions, they're kind of in a rebuild right now. I mean, that's why Dan Campbell got the 6-year contract. They know this is going to be a process. Jared Goff, probably not their quarterback of the future, but I mean, if he could perform well, he could very well be, but not likely. They're probably going to be picking a quarterback in the 2022 draft. However, Golladay, man, I think you at least tag him, get him to play a season, because you have no receivers. Danny Amendola, Marvin Jones, they're gone. And I know he's 27, but even if you extend him to like a 3-year deal, maybe a 4-year deal, you could get him in his prime for the next 3 seasons, and then maybe trade or release him. The other way, you could tag and trade, at least get some sort of value. And I mean, we saw Detroit with Stafford. They're all about getting the value right now in terms of they're trying to scrape in that draft capital. So I think at the very least you do that. I think he's going to be he's a prime tag target. He's probably going to get hit with it. I don't think he sees free agency. And then John Johnson the third for the Rams. They're not working with a lot of cap now with Stafford paying Aaron Donald, which Aaron Donald's worth every penny. So, but Johnson's really been, I feel, underappreciated. He's one of the better safeties in the league. Outside of 2019, where he was hurt, he's been phenomenal. I think he's been a top 5 safety. Like, he can come down, play the run. He's phenomenal in whether he's a single high or split high. Like, he's been great. He's been great. 9 interceptions over the course of his time there with 24 pass breakups. He only has 22. What is it? No, he has 34 missed blocks, but I mean that's on like 358 attempts. So that's solid. Like, he's just a good player, man. So much so, I mean, you could go back to my 2017 NFL draft redo, and dude, I was just glowing about this guy. Like, so good, man. And I know, okay, you got Taylor Rapp, you got Jordan Fuller. You're like, okay, those are kind of our safeties of the future. I mean, okay, Johnson's tag is going to be cheap. Like, $10 million for franchise tag ain't bad. Second, a lot of teams nowadays are really running 3 safeties, typically. Sometimes whether it's in the slot or maybe kind of as a nickel linebacker, like 3 like it's not like, it's kind of ideal to have 3 consistently good safeties. And in this case, you got 2 pretty good safeties with a Pro Bowler. And I just don't think you let Johnson walk, at least this year. Especially, you got Stafford. You're kind of now created this Super Bowl window. So that's just my take on it. Then Yannick Ngakoue, dude. I think this cat is going to be getting the franchise tag. It's going to cost almost $16 million. It really depends how they work it. Like, if they're, because the NFL still does this whole defensive end linebacker. Like, he's a pass rusher. That's kind of how they should do it. But so he might end up getting like the in between, kind of like Judon did. And I would say bring Yannick back over Judon. Yannick, dude, is yes, against the run game, probably non-existent. But this dude is a dominant pass rusher. With last year kind of being the exception, and even then, he still had like a 12% win rate. So, and I know that Yannick made a big case in Jacksonville when he got hit with the franchise tag, but quite frankly, it was kind of the beginning of the end there for Jacksonville after their postseason run, and it was like, you could just tell he didn't want to be here. So he was playing with 2 different teams, doing 2 different roles at the beginning of this year with Minnesota and then moving to Baltimore. And again, it was a bit of a down year, but his down year resulted in 44 pressures, 77 sacks. Like, just a couple of seasons ago, this guy had back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. Like, he's definitely one of the better pass rushers in this in the NFL. And I think if you're gonna bring someone back, like, they might go Bowser, who's more of a better financially. It's a cheaper alternative, but he's not gonna bring the upside of Yannick. I think you let Matt Judon go. If I'm picking between the 2, I'm gonna take Yannick. Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to hit Judon with the franchise tag again, because then I think his is gonna be up there like 19 million. So yeah, that's just not pretty. And then Justin Simmons, man. Justin Simmons, I think he might end up getting hit with the franchise tag, but it sounds like they're pretty close on a long-term deal. They just might need a little more time to get all the details done. So I think he's gonna get hit with it. I think this is the 2nd year in a row, because his is up to almost 14 million if they do it, and they should, dude. He's probably been one of the top, if not the top safeties over the last 2 seasons. He's well deserving of it. Last year, his production may not have looked great because he allowed like 7 touchdowns, but keep in mind, he was playing with 2 rookie corners for a bulk of the season there, and like that defense, it was having a tough time. I mean, they lost Von Miller for the whole season. It's not like the offense was really moving the football. So Simmons, typically you're going to see, especially when your defense, it's constantly on the field. And that there's weak parts, especially in the secondary there, yeah, his play is gonna, or at least his production, it's gonna decline. But even then, dude, I think he's still like graded out as one of like the top 10 safeties in the league. So yeah, man, they're gonna sign him. They're close to a deal, and they should. He deserves it. And then last but not least, Hunter Henry is on the list. Yeah, dude, Hunter Henry, he deserves to get a long-term deal. And I think since they re-signed Keenan Allen, there we go, to like a 4-year, what was it, like $80 million dollar deal, that I think and Austin Eckler, it's like, hey, we are into investing into our playmakers to make our quarterback's job easier, right? So I think Hunter Henry he will get that deal. His franchise tag is gonna be almost $13 million, which actually makes him the third highest paid tight end next year, right after Kittle and Kelsey. So even if you slap with the franchise tag, I wouldn't mind just sitting on that, you know? Big issue with him was injuries. You kind of worry about it. But I mean, dude, 2018, yeah, he had the big injury, but he missed a couple of games last year, or in 2019, and then for the most part, he was able to play every game in 2020. So I won't be too concerned about that so much. On top of that, man, he's a pretty solid run blocker. Some of his grade's not as high as a lot of people because he also plays a lot in the slot, and that kind of damages your run blocking grade. But again, he's a versatile weapon. You can move all over the place. So especially with Justin Herbert, man, you got your quarterback in the infancy of his development. Don't take away his safety blanket. I know y'all be like, well, Allen's like us. Yeah, okay, yes. You got the safety, the security blanket, the blankie. That's Hunter Henry. Then you got the teddy bear you kind of curl up with. That's Keenan Allen. Don't take those away. Not yet. Not yet. It's too early in his development. But yeah, I think he's probably going to get hit with the tag and maybe eventually see a long-term deal. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated. Much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.